owning your life applies to every single thing in your life. Your health, your wealth, the power you have in your life, your money, your relationships, everything in your life. You already have these divine intelligences within you to assist you in doing this. You are in charge of all of this. We can manifest, we can create because we are in matter, and we create matter, and it all comes from consciousness. If you don't like something in your life, then change the story, because you're the one who created the story in the first place. You are the creator. You came with seniority. You came with power. You are power. You're listening to the Transform Your Life from the Inside Out podcast. This is the first of the year, 2025, and this first episode of the year is titled Harnessing Your Life Power and Seniority for 2025. This is a recording that I did, a conversation with Don Javier back on February the 14th of 2021. And when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for this episode, this one really hit me. It's very simple and very powerful. I have thousands of conversations with him, but this one here, really, the theme is about owning your life. And this particular conversation was about health and wellness, which I think everyone listening wants to be healthy and be well. But the concept of owning your life and the way that I'm going to share it from the conversation applies to every single thing in your life. Your health, your wealth, the power you have in your life, your money, your relationships, everything in your life. So if you'd like to have an amazing 2025, keep listening. Okay, another episode here in the series of that I've titled Conversations with a Sorcerer, even though this exact episode is not titled that. And this is a conversation that I had with Don Javier back on December the 14th of 2021. Is at a family dinner. There were only about 4 of us there, maybe 6, but 4 to 6 of us. And I want to start first with the topic of conversation and that was health. But as I said in the introduction, this can apply to anything in your life, because it's not about health per se. It's about the power that we can draw on to heal ourselves. So let me start in with a dialogue. So Don Javier goes on to say in this conversation, and again, most of this is a direct quote, "There is no such thing as disease." Now, what he's meaning with that is we can look around and say, well, yes, there is. People get sick. I get sick. But what he's really saying is that people create disease from their own toxicity, from the inside of themselves outward. In fairness, I have not asked him, and I will at some point, even though I've worked with him for decades, I've never asked, well, then how come children get sick? And I'm not sure if that's a matter of karma or what it might be. But in this episode for adults, the whole context of this is that if there were such a thing as disease in the universe, then everyone in the universe and the universes would have that disease. But everyone doesn't, which means whatever we have individually is self-created, and that comes from something, within us. Now, again, in the opening, I said I was going to start talking about health, but what I'm going to share in this episode, you can apply to any area of your life. Don Javier went on to say, quote, "Don't take me wrong. We are exposed to environmental things, and many people are sick, really because of the things that they are eating, the junk that people is eating." And then he said, if you look at the ingredients of what you're buying and you don't understand something, put it back. There are a lot of ingredients, especially in the U.S. food supply, that's making people sick. And off topic here, I saw something a couple of days ago, and it was just a little cartoon that said, if your supermarket has a health food section, then what's in the rest of the supermarket? So think about that. So Don Javier's comment is if you look at the packaging, and generally anything packaged is probably not good for you because it's probably full of preservatives. And then we look in the US at the obesity rates and the amount of people that are overweight and the amount of people that are sick. It's because of the chemicals predominantly in our food in the United States. So as he was talking about being sick, he said, but in our own nature, because we are on and from this divine planet, all the aspects you have, all the universes, we are from all the universes that exist, not just this universe. And what does that mean? What that means is that everything from this planet, meaning all the power on the planet that created the planet, is within you. Everything from the universe is within you. He went on to say, what that means is that we are all holy. We're part of the holiness, and we have to function in that way and be harmonious with that. When we do that, we have the power to heal. We have that divine intelligence in us. Now, my comment earlier was, it's not just about healing. That divine power is within all of us. And that divine power can be called on for money, relationships, health, whatever you want to create in life. He went on to say, as he goes, can any of you tell me how many times did your heart beat today? Or tell me, what is are your kidneys and your liver doing right now? And he said, there are incredible, and he said it the third time, incredible intelligences inside of all of your organism, meaning the physical totality of you. And you're designed to already be in sync with the divine intelligences that are assisting you. And like I said earlier, it's not just health. It's anything that you want to manifest and create in life. You already have these divine intelligences within you to assist you in doing this. And he said, and you are in charge of all of this. When we hear that, my comment is many times we think, well, if I'm in charge of this, then how come my life is so challenging? How come this is hard and that is hard and money's a struggle and how come I'm always sick and all these kinds of things if Don Javier, you're saying I'm in charge? A topic that he goes into that I've been around a lot and I've heard a lot over the years is the concept of the soulful seniority of your being. And he went on to say, when people become in charge of their own seniority, that is your own energy and your power from within. And that changes everything. But if you have things like uncertainty and fear and doubt, then you're giving up your power. You're giving it all away. All this power that you're endowed with, you're giving it all away. And then he said, you're giving in to life, meaning the external world. And giving into life means a phrase that he's used many, many years, and I'll explain it. But giving into life means you're getting wet. Now, what he means by getting wet, a simple metaphor. Let's say that you're on the edge of a cliff and you want to stay dry. So if you want to stay dry, you stay on the edge of the cliff. You don't hop off into the water, because if you hop off into the water, then you get wet. Well, the same thing that he's using a metaphor here is that if we give up all of our power, which I'll talk about more in a bit, to the external world, then we are getting wet. So a comment that I want to make here, and he said also, is when bad things, air quote, bad things are happening in life, we need to stop and ask. And we need to ask ourselves, what did I do in myself? This is his exact sentence. What did I do in myself to make this manifest? Ponder that. We never think about that. We generally look to the outside and say, oh, it's Biden, which a lot of people say in the US right now. Now, if there were a different administration, they would say it's that administration, when in truth, any presidential administration in the US has many things that carry over from the preceding and oftentimes many earlier preceding administrations that are now manifesting in front of our eyes, but things might have been put into motion a decade or 2 decades ago, or 3 decades ago, or 4 decades ago. But what we have to look at is when something happens to us, we have to stop and say, what did I do in myself to manifest this? Another question to ask is, in which way did I manage my seniority and my energy? Think about that. In which way did I manage my seniority and my energy? And what he means by seniority, and I'll talk more about it in just a bit, is we all come to the planet with power. We're born with power, the power of consciousness, the power of divine mind. But then what we do once we're born, we give that power away. Okay, so then he goes back to health a little bit, and he says, quote, so he said a lot of doctors, they get empowered by their patients because the patients, absolutely believe whatever the hell the doctor says. There's been a lot of research, my comment on this, a lot of research done on the placebo and nocebo effect, meaning many times what will happen to us based upon the esteem with which we hold a practitioner, whatever they tell us is going to happen to us will happen to us. Why? Because we give all of our power to the practitioner, the doctor, the surgeon, whatever it might be. And then Don Javier went on to say, and some of them, meaning the doctors, they get egotistical about that. And some of them think, oh, I am God. And then he said, well, maybe they don't think exactly that way, but they think often in terms of like, well, you have to do this because I say you have to do this. And you're not going to get better unless I say you do, or you do what I say you have to do. And he said, when doctors do that, they take the power of healing away from people. And then what many times doctors will do is they will give people XYZ medications, and then people will get all the side effects from all these medications. But you know what? He said many times the doctor's ego is so high or so caught in the industry that they keep going with that, meaning they keep prescribing things that they know there's going to be side effects with these things, but they keep prescribing them because they're so caught in their own mental traps about what human beings are, what they're not, and their power they have over other human beings. And he went on to say, there are good practitioners and there are bad practitioners. There are good doctors and there are bad doctors. And there are good healers and there are bad healers. And then he said, well, okay, which ones are the, air quote, the bad ones? And he said, the bad ones are the ones that get into their ego. The ones that operate from, you have to do whatever I say you have to do, and you're not going to get better unless you do what I say you have to do. And Don Javier's comment that is a bad healer. He goes on to say, and I have seen this for many years. I saw it with myself. I've seen it with other people that he works with. When they might have some kind of physical ailment, something going on, maybe they think they need medical attention. And by the way, if you need medical attention and you think you need it, then get it. You need trauma medicine? Get it. Please seek out the medical help that you need. I'm not trying to dissuade you from using medical help. What I'm trying to, in seeking it out, what I'm wanting you to do is look at the power that you have and how much power do you give up to something external. And Don Javier said about the healers, and then healers telling people what they have to do, he goes, I never put myself in that spot because it takes two to tango. I do my part, meaning as a healer, you do your part. I do my end of the bargain, which means bringing the energy and the ancient healing practices to you, but you've also got to do your end of the bargain. And if we tango together, we can conquer this. But if you're expecting me to do everything, is what he goes on to say. And by the way, for you listening now, I have seen this, and maybe you recognize it in your own life. But he goes, if you're expecting me to do everything to help you heal, all the while you keep going with your, oh my God, I'm sick. I don't feel good. I feel bad. OMG, then I guess we're going to lose the battle. And there's nothing that I can do about it. Now, when he talks about OMG, that's a phrase that he uses a lot, and we all know what it means, oh my God. But so many people, especially medically and around money, people get into OMG. I don't feel good. I feel bad. The doctor said I have this. The doctor said I have that. There's no way I'm going to heal. OMG, the doctor said I had this, and this is worse than that. And stage 4 is worse than stage 1, but stage 3 is worse than stage 2. OMG. We do that with a lot of things in life, is my commentary. We do it with money as well. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent? My rent is $1,700. Oh my God, I've only got $400 on my bank account. Oh my God. OMG, what am I going to do? We're giving away all of our power. And then he went on to say, and I love this part of the conversation, and it's not the first time that I've heard this. And he said, we have this incredible, amazing technology within ourselves. It's like no other technology. And of course, we have a lot of technology on the planet, and we have smart devices and, technology as we know it. But there's a higher technology than all the technology on the planet combined. And what he's meaning there and what he's saying is the technology of you. Ponder that, the technology of you. And we tend to look at technology as something like our computers, our smartphones. But have you ever looked at your body? Ponder this. Have you ever looked at your body and your being as technology? Because we look at technology as, for example, science doing a certain thing. But you want to talk about a certain thing. Do you know how to separate? Let's say you eat a really salty dinner. Do you know how to separate the salt in the blood so your body gets the salt that it needs? It doesn't get too much salt, or it regulates, or whatever the case might be. Do you know analytically how to regulate these things? No, you don't. Do you know how to consciously regulate your heartbeat? No, you don't. Do you know how to consciously make your hair grow? No, you don't. Do you know consciously how to make your fingernails grow? No, you don't. That is the technology. That is the technology that we are. And we are higher technology than all the technology on the planet. And let that sink in. And he goes on to say, we come to be, and this is powerful, guys. This whole episode is very simple, but very powerful in my opinion. He goes on to say, we come to be healers by nature. Since we are born, we are healers because we carry it within ourselves. I'll slow down. We carry a higher level of consciousness than all the technology on the planet. And we carry this higher level of consciousness within ourselves in the essence of our being. So, as I said earlier, and the third time, this isn't just about being a healer, because this technology, the technology of being and being what we are creators, and we create every experience that we have in our life. Think about that. And he said, but if you doubt, meaning you doubt you have this power, you doubt you're a creator, then you give your seniority away. And then many times people come to you and they say no, and I've seen this in the medical profession, is no, you can't do that. People don't heal that way. This is how it happens. There's no way that people heal from stage 4 cancer. There's no way that people can heal from multiple sclerosis. There's no way that people can heal from AIDS, and the list goes on. And I'm speaking to you, this is not Don Javier. Doctors in the medical establishment tell us these things but it's not true. And when we buy into it 100%, we give our power away. And Don Javier went on to say, and then you drain yourself. And then you no longer have your personal power to assist you because you've let the externals, these other people, drain your personal power, the power you're born with. You let them drain you and take that power away from you. So a comment here from me, ponder that. You no longer have your personal power to assist you. And personal power is a very simple thing. And I'll talk about it more later in the episode. But you brought it with you. You were born with it. But many of us give our personal power away to other people, especially people we deem as authorities on the planet. Now, what I was alluding to earlier, Don Javier never tells anyone as an expert, as a healer, like, oh, you should do this. He says, quote, I never come to anyone to say, do as I say. No, I say, okay, so what do you want to do? And then, okay, we'll follow that and I'll help you with that. But I never want to come and say to you that you have to do it this way, or I'm going to work with you or not going to work with you. Now, speaking to you listening to the podcast, I have seen this personally with him. When I was sick in 2020, I found myself giving my power away and he put me back on track again. And I know someone that he was working with that had stage 4 cancer. And I was sitting there at the conversation when she was sharing she had stage 4 cancer. And I remember him very poignantly, I remember him saying, okay, we can heal and we can go the all medical route and I can assist, or we can go the ancient way and the holistic way and I will assist and I'll be by your side. But what do you want to do? And whatever you want to do, that's what we're going to do. And little by little, we're going to fix the problem. Trust me. That's exactly, speaking to you listening to the episode, what he said to me when I had the stroke and heart failure. He goes, because I chose to go the ancient route. And he goes, trust me, we're going to pull you out of this. You do your part, I do my part. Now, speaking to you guys, my part was not getting into, oh my God, I feel so bad today. I feel horrible today. Am I going to heal? Am I going to be better? Am I going to have another stroke, which a doctor told me I could have? Am I going to get into all this negativity? And Don Javier's going into, and what he's saying is that's not doing my part. My part was recognizing the power in me to heal. But you listening right now, you've got to do your part relative to the personal power that you have that you're born with. And he said, when you do your part, we're going to team up, we're going to work together, and we're going to move you pronto. So he goes, people that do their part, meaning with their personal power, they get results fast. They are the ones, quote, this is what he says, the people who do their part, they are the ones who will say, I'm on it 100%. And they drop their past. And they drop, I'm going to put it in my words, they drop their nonsense, they drop their fears, they drop their worries, they get 100% into the knowing that they have this personal divine power to heal. They connect with it, and what they're doing is they are connecting with divine intelligence. Don Javier went on to say, quote, we are all connected to that. Divine intelligence is everything. Now, we were at the kitchen table, and he knocks on the kitchen table, and he says, this is glass. And by the way, what I'm going to share, I think is pretty profound in my opinion. He says, this is glass, and it's man-made, but it is matter created from matter. Listen to what I said. It's matter created from matter. And he told me long ago, which I'd mentioned on other episodes, we can only manifest and create when we are in matter energetically. It doesn't matter how powerful our soul is. If it's not in the matter of the body, then that soul cannot manifest and create on this physical plane, meaning on earth. So we are here in matter from matter. And being from matter, we can create matter, which basically means we can heal, we can manifest, we can create because we are in matter. And then he went on to say, cars, furniture, everything. We are in matter and we create matter, and it all comes from consciousness. And then he went on to say, and this is very powerful because most of us don't look at it this way. So we come here to co-create. Think about that. We come to planet Earth as spiritual beings, energetic beings. We incarnate in the physical body to co-create. Everything you have in your life has been co-created between you and your relationship to divine mind, your seniority. So what I notice many people doing in the transformational coaching program is they've given all their seniority away to cultural beliefs about health and wellness and money and relationships. So they've given all their power away, all their seniority away, and they have no power to co-create what they want because they've given all their seniority and their power away. He talks about a little bit, I won't go into it a lot in this episode, but when we wake up to that power in us, then we have more power to create with divine intelligence. And I'll leave that there for now. I'm not going to talk about it more in this episode, and I'll talk about that a little later, why I'm not talking about it in this episode. But it goes on to say, and that is what I say. Life is art, and you are the artist. And so you're creating your own art, and you're creating the story of your life because you are the creator. Ponder that for a moment. Whatever stories you're telling about me listening to me right now, or my stopped up nose doing this podcast, The Weather Changed Today, whatever stories you're telling yourself about health, wellness, money, you're co-creating in that moment with divine intelligence. If you don't want to call it that, call it consciousness, divine mind, call it the quantum field, call it whatever you want to call it, but you are co-creating based upon where you're holding your attention and your consciousness because you are a creator. And he went on to say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, and I'm sure you've heard me say it before, if you don't like something in your life, then change the story because you're the one who created the story in the first place. And then the story you created, you don't like the story you created, but you're a creator and you're the one who created the story. And then he said, people say things like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that in my life. I don't like all these things in my life. Well, then change the story of your life. You created the story of your life, and if you don't like something, change it. Pretty simple, right? I mean, you're listening right now. It's pretty simple, but we don't see ourselves as a creator. We give all of our power away to something external, and then we wonder why we have no power, and then almost it's like we become victims of culturalization of the world that we live in. Now, Don Javier went on to say this, and I'm going to defend myself and you with this comment, but he said it's as simple as that. Now, where I'm defending you and I is sometimes we can say, well, it's not that simple because I've learned to be all these ways. And I'm not going to talk about it on this episode and in this episode, but yeah, this is why it's so hard for many of us to change, is because we've learned to be in a certain way and we keep creating that, but we don't know how to uncreate that to be in a different way, which means we keep creating ways we don't like. And Don Javier said is let go of your baggage. Don't have all the uncertainty. Let go of all the fear. And he went on to say a truism is that no matter what's going to happen, even if we kick the bucket, meaning leaving the planet, it's still going to be fine. You're still going to be okay. And he goes, even if we kick the bucket, that's fine, because guess what? We're going to reintegrate back into the all, meaning the universe, divine energy, and we've all done that so many times before. And he said, we already know all of this, and we are here now in this particular immense event that is taking place, meaning the state and condition of the planet we're on and all the changes that the planet's going through. And he goes, being here, we have freedom of choice. We are creators. We all have choice. And your choice is not my choice, and my choice is not your choice. We all have our own choices, and no one can take that away. So he goes on to say, do I have fear? No, I don't. And I'm not going to be in worry, and I'm not going to be into, oh my God, I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm not going to go into that. And he says, why? Because I want to be in this stage of well-being, this stage of vibration, of frequency, energy, and connected with a divine intelligence to be in a functional stage of health and well-being. And he went on to state, now don't take me wrong. He goes, I will leave this body. And we all will, by the way. He goes, I will leave this body. And we're all mortals. And we have to stop wasting our energy while we are here on the planet. And he goes, I'm not going to be wasting my energy with, oh my God, this is bad. I don't have any money. This person doesn't like me. This person looked at me sideways. Oh my gosh, the doctor said this. The news said this. Biden said this. Trump said this. Oh my God. He went on to say, because maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, boom, all that energy is going to come right back home to you. And what I want you to notice as I said that is notice all of your power that you're giving away. As we're rolling into 2025, look at all your power that you've given away in your life. All of your power to your beliefs about money. Most of your beliefs about money are wrong. Money's very easy to make, but many of you think it's hard to make. You've given your power away. So you're in charge. You're in charge of your creation and what you create. You're in charge of your seniority, that power that you brought to the planet. So do not give it away to other people. So I want to basically share this with you to kind of wrap up this entire podcast. And I have some more things I want to share with you in this episode. I remember many years ago, Don Javier was talking about, we were sitting in his kitchen about going on a vacation. And he says, when you go on a vacation, you might have a rental car, you fly somewhere, you hop on the rental car, you drive around, you have a great time while you're there, you have all the experiences, all the sights, you drive back to the airport, you drop off your rental car, you hop in the airplane, and you go home. It's a metaphor for our life. Your body's a rental car. But you forget, metaphorically, that you're a powerful driver aside from that rental car. You're a creator. And Don Javier was saying in that same conversation that night is that we come to this planet, metaphorically, he was saying, like with a bag over our head, and we forget everything. We forget all of our power, and we give all of that power away. And we give all of our power away to other people to tell us this, that, and the other about life and how bad we are and how bad life is and how hard life is. And he goes, no baby comes to the planet with conscious beliefs. We come with our knowing and our seniority, meaning the power and the essence of who we are. And that is power, and that's the only thing we're going to leave the planet with, and we cannot give that away. So for 2025, and with these episodes, let's start working on you pulling your power back in. And there's a couple of ways that I want to do that. Number one is keep listening to the podcast, because I will bring more episodes, conversations with a sorcerer, and I'll talk more about that. But before I get into the transformational takeaways, which I do for every episode, I want to share, and you probably heard it somewhere in the podcast or on another one, I've started what's called a secret podcast, which is where I dive deeper into each and every one of these episodes. And in the secret podcast that corresponds to this episode, what I want to talk more about there is people taking your power and you giving it up. I'm going to talk about you managing your seniority, your energy, and your power. I'm going to talk more about why your subconscious subconscious identity won't let you change. I'm going to talk about giving up all of your fear and your worry, which takes all of your seniority away. And actually, on a secret podcast that pertains to this episode, I'm going to cover 10 points from this episode, and I'm going to dive deeper into them to help you actually pull more power back into you. So what you want to do to listen to these secret episodes is go to jimfortin.com/insiders. Go to jimfortin.com/insiders, and we're going to dive even deeper into this episode. So your transformational takeaway from this episode is this: you are the creator. You came with seniority. You came with power. You are power. So what I request you take away from this episode is the thought, I am the creator. I am the power of divine intelligence. Hold that thought right there. I am the creator. I am the power of divine intelligence. And let's carry that with you throughout 2025. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you over on another episode. Bye-bye.